Thank you, Ron. Well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
How y'all doing? Well, that's nice. Okay, my name is Foster Perry. My pronouns are he and him. On behalf of the congregation, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of native tribes. Whether you have joined us online, hello everyone, or are here in the sanctuary, we are glad to have you with us in the sacred time we choose to be together. We are an open community of learning, caring, and justice-making. You are welcome here, every part of you, just the way you are. Our congregation is served by our minister, the Reverend Jamie Dingus. She is available by contacting the office for pastoral care and to answer questions about Unitarian Universalism. If you are a newcomer, please consider signing our guest book in the foyer. The foyer is that way, to receive a weekly email newsletter. Please also take a moment to silence your electronic devices. If you have a joy or a sorrow or an important milestone that you would like to share during our circle of candles and have it be included in the pastoral prayer, please write it on one of these white cards. Here's an example in the pew in front of you, and place it in the offering basket. For community news, check our email, newsletter, website, and paper insert in your order of service, like that. I'll read a few of these. I guess I'll read them all.
Or you don't even have to, or any that are today, maybe?
Okay. Any that are today? Well, the Alabama Postcard Project is still ongoing. You can join us today in the Fellowship Hall to participate in the postcard project organized by the NAACP and the League of Women Voters. We will be writing postcards today during our coffee hour. And then the other announcements I'm sure you can read. And also, by the way, one of our songs is typed on the back. After our service, everyone is welcome to join us in the Fellowship Hall. To your left, my right, through those double doors. Now, I would like to invite Lori Larson, who is our choir director of music, to ring the singing bowl to help us enter into the service more deeply. And finally, having gathered in a shared quest for truth, meaning, and purpose, let us light our chalice with these words by Louis J. Camuti. Thank you for helping me with that, too. These words are as follows. The greatest pleasure of a dog is that you may make a fool of yourself with him. And not only will he not scold you, right, Riker? But he will make a fool of himself as well. Oh, yes. And now let us enter into the morning service more deeply with music for centering, followed by our thread song. 123, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Welcome in, welcome here to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. My name is Reverend Jamie Dingus. My pronouns are she and her, and I am so grateful to be with all of you this morning, whether you are here in our sanctuary, whether you are one of our furry or scaled or little friends who are here with us, thank you, or whether you're online or you're being blessed in absentia this morning, you are so welcome here. Join me now in centering with these words by Leonard Mason. We affirm the unfailing renewal of life, rising from the earth and reaching for the sun, all living creatures shall fulfill themselves. We affirm the steady growth of human companionship, rising from ancient cradles and reaching for the stars, people the world over seeking ways of understanding. We affirm a continuing hope that out of every tragedy, the spirits of individuals shall rise to build a better world. We affirm a deeper truth, that we belong to one another. May our time this morning affirm this interdependence. And now I'd invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing with us. Our opening hymn is number 324 in the gray hymnal. My free spirit onward leads. As we celebrate animals and our connections to the natural world, we're inspired by these free and furry spirits that often lead us. Let's sing together number 324.
Where my free spirit onward leads, well, there shall be my way. By my own light illumined, I've journeyed night and day. My age or time-worn cloak I wear, as once I wore my youth. I celebrate life's mystery, I celebrate death's truth. My family is not confined to mother, mate, and child, but it includes all creatures, be they tame or be they mild. My family upon this earth includes all living things, on land or in the ocean deep, or borne aloft on wings. The ever-spinning universe, well, there shall be my home. I sing and spin within it, as through this life I roam. Eternity is hard to ken and hard still is this: a human life, when truly seen, is briefer than a kiss.
Following our first hymn, we remain risen in body or spirit, and we sing our doxology and speak in unison our words of aspiration. You can find those on that blue sheet in front of you. And when we get to those words of aspiration, it's our practice to turn and face one another, speaking those words as words of promise. Let's sing. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. You may be seated. And now I'm inviting the children and youth to come forward for our Story for All Ages. This is going to be a multi-generational service, so you're going to come forward for this part and then go back to your seats, and you'll come forward again for part 2. Good morning. How are y'all doing this morning? It's so good to see you. Awesome. So this morning I have a special story for you, and it's called Old Turtle, and it's by a very smart person named Douglas Wood. But before we tell you the story of Old Turtle, I thought you might like to meet my old turtle. So this is Herbert. Yeah, so I'm going to let everyone pet him. In fact, I'm going to let him crawl around, so you guys stay seated, and you can let him crawl up to you. He doesn't bite, and you can pet him real gentle with 2 fingers. And if you have pet him, you're going to go next to Stephanie to the hand sanitizer before you put your fingers in your mouths later, if that's something you do. So this is Herbert. He's a Russian tortoise. Here you go. There he is. Do you have a question, Alexis? What's your question?
What does he like to go? What's the cage like for him?
What's the cage like for Herbert? That's a great question. So he lives in an aquarium during the winter and at nighttime, and then sometimes he lives in this cool box that has holes in it in our backyard during the summer months, because he's good at living outside too. What's your question, Saoirse? What does he eat? That's a great question. So he's a picky eater, and all he will eat is heads of romaine lettuce, which makes him a very easy pet. But he's kind of an old turtle now. He's 8 years old right now, but guess how old he's going to be when he's...
800?
Yeah, not 1,000, not 100, but he can live between 40 and 60 years. So that is a pretty long time. Hey, will you come up and grab Herbie and make sure he doesn't get too far away? Yes. So he likes to eat lettuce, and he likes to drink water, and he gets to take a bath every week in our bathtub. How silly is that?
I have one more question for me.
What's your question?
Me and my sister dog died.
I'm so sorry to hear that. You had 2 dogs and they died?
My dad's really sad.
Hey, friends, who here has had a pet that they love die? Yeah. That is a really hard part of being a human in this world. And I'm so sorry that you lost your pet. And when we get to the blessing of the animals, if you want to come up and say their name, we can give them a blessing, even though they're not here anymore. All right, so I'm going to get started with the story, and we can do some. So Old Turtle is here to tell an old turtle story. See what we did there? We've got a real turtle. Yeah, thank you, Ron. I appreciate you. And this is one of those wisdom stories where you learn things and you ask questions, and it's a story or a legend, so it's maybe not factually true, but there's a good lesson in there to learn. So here we go. Once, long, long ago, yet somehow not so very long, when all the animals and rocks and winds and waters and trees and birds and fish and all the beings of the world could speak and understand one another, there began an argument. Could you imagine that happening? All the rocks and the fish and the rivers having an argument?
Like Frozen, like everyone had an argument with the people.
Yeah, just like Frozen, absolutely. And so this argument began softly at first, quiet as the first breeze that whispered, "He is a wind who is never still," and quiet as the stone that answered, "She is a great rock that never moves." Gentle as the mountain that rumbled, God is a snowy peak high above the clouds. And the fish in the ocean that answered, God is a swimmer in the dark blue depths of the sea. No, said the star, they are a twinkling and shining light far, far away. No, replied the ant, God is a sound and a smell and a feeling who is very close. God, said the antelope, is a runner, swift and free, who loves to leap and race with the wind. She is a great tree, murmured the willow, a part of the world, always growing and always giving. You are wrong, argued the island. God is separate and apart. God is like the shining sun far above all things, said the blue sky. No, he's a river who flows through the very heart of things, thundered the waterfall. She is a hunter, roared the lion. They are gentle, chirped the robin. He is powerful, growled the bear. And the argument grew louder and louder and louder. What? Do you think it stopped? Until, stop, you got it, Saoirse. A new voice spoke, and this voice rumbled loudly like thunder, and it whispered softly like butterfly sneezes. The voice seemed to come from, why, it seemed to come from
Hello.
Old Turtle.
Oh, that's
Yeah, right, you get it now. Now, Old Turtle hardly ever said anything, and certainly never argued about things like God. But now, Old Turtle began to speak. And this is what they said. Do you want to hear what Old Turtle said?
yes.
God is indeed deep, she said to the fish in the sea, and much higher than the mountains, she told them. He is swift and free as the wind, and still and solid as a great rock, she said to the breezes and stones. She's the life of the world, Turtle said to the willow, and always close by, yet beyond the farthest twinkling light, she told the ant and the star. God is gentle and powerful, above all things and within all things. God is all that we dream of and all that we seek, said Old Turtle, and all that we come from and all that we can find. God is. Thank you for sharing that with me. Old Turtle had never said so much before. All the beings of the world were surprised and became very quiet. But Old Turtle had one more thing to say. This one's important. Old Turtle said, "There will soon be a new family of beings in the world, and they will be strange and wonderful. They will be reminders of all that God is, and they will come in many colors and shapes with different faces and different ways of speaking. Their thoughts will soar to the stars, but their feet will walk on the earth. They will possess many powers. They will be strong yet tender, a message of love to the world and a prayer from the world all the way back." And
That's us.
you're right. And the people came. We're going to stop there, and we're going to come back to our story in a little bit. But I wondered what you thought of our story so far. What do you think, Alexis?
About the turtle.
About the turtle? What do you think?
I thought nobody should be arguing because the turtle was right. God is all these things. There are all these things, but it can't just be one thing because if you just say one thing, what is it?
Right?
You
You're
say all these things. Like if you want to be so much, you just be one. You want to be one. But if you be so much, you're unique.
That's great.
My God.
Yup. What do you think?
I think you have to be one person only because you be like 1,000 persons. What you're going to do?
You're like 1,000 persons and what they're going to do. Anybody else want to share what you think of the story?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I think the turtle is.
You think the turtle?
The turtle liked everybody, and then the turtle was screaming.
You think the turtle liked everyone and then the turtle was screaming? Yeah. So here's a harder question. Did you notice the trees and the rocks and the fish? What did they think was important and about God?
They thought about what God they thought. They think about what God was because they feel like God, and they think, oh, God is this.
Yeah, so they thought about what God is and they were like, oh, maybe God is what I am. Is that right? It seemed like maybe the trees and the rocks and the birds and the bears saw something of themselves in what they thought God might be like. What did you think? Yeah, there's no right or wrong way to think about God and think about religion. Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to invite you to go back to your seats now, and Old Turtle is going to come hang out with me, and we'll pick up with him later on in the service, okay? Yeah, hand sanitizer if you did play with Old Turtle. Hey, that is so fun, and we can practice more after the service, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much. That was very enjoyable. We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community. Together, we build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, braver voice for justice. If you would like to support us with a monetary contribution, we would be most grateful. Your generosity helps us to keep the utilities on, maintain our buildings and grounds, run our various ministries, pay our staff a fair wage, and support organizations that share the UU values. You can donate online using the QR code on the order of service, or you can put cash or check donations in the offering basket. Completed Circle of Candles cards, the white card again, should also be placed in the offering baskets. You are invited to come forward during this time and quietly drop a stone into a bowl of water here next to the ramp. And in honor or in memory of what you hold in your heart. It is through your generosity that we serve our mission here at UUCH. With gratitude, we now receive the offering.
Will you join me now for a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer? Spirit of love, be with us in this time as we share with one another the joys and sorrows that change our lives. Be with us as we hold people and places, times and situations in care and concern, and wish for a better world transformed by our love. This morning, we share joys from Nancy Finley, who's joyful because her daughter is home from New York, along with her friends Austin and Brittany. Welcome home. We're so grateful to see you this morning. And Brian Walls shares gratitude that his family is okay after Storm Helene. Diane's sister's house was flooded in Florida. Brother's rental house was flooded in Asheville, and the renter had to be rescued from the roof. And my nephew and my sister and her husband in South Carolina are all without power. We share prayers for all impacted by this terrible storm. And remember that this is what happens when our climate changes. May we work to help heal our planet from the destruction of these events. And as we share in joy and gratitude, we also share sorrows. Paul and Bridget DeMore lift up prayers for Foy, our friend from the Cherokee Nation, who had to visit the emergency room this week and miss his powwow. And gratitude to Paul and Bridget for going to visit him, and we wish him well in healing. Kim Estelle shares a sorrow, keep in our hearts several of her former students who recently took their lives due to being bullied for being queer. We hold you so dearly in our hearts, queer beloveds, in this tragedy. Jaylee Kordowski lifts up that someone stole the free LGBTQ clothing closet 2 weeks before Pride. This closet serves our community and helps folks who might not have in their own closets clothing that matches their gender and how they want to represent themselves in this world, and gives them an opportunity to feel seen as who they should be. We pray for all those who work for the clothing closet and hope it comes back to them. And this morning we lift up Marcellus Williams and his family. Marcellus was executed by the state of Missouri this week, despite DNA evidence clearly proving his innocence. Let's mourn together this despicable miscarriage of justice and recommit to the work of liberation for all people. This world is filled with joy and sorrow, gratitude and fear. And what we need in all of those moments is community and a spirit of love and connection to be with us and hold us. A spirit of joyful connection to bark with us and help us move towards liberation for all. Blessed be. Amen. And let's sing together our responsive music, number 1009, Meditation on Breathing.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Have you ever seen those photos of people who look just like their dogs? You know the ones, they're clickbaity, they go around Facebook from time to time, and you'll see this slideshow, the wavy redhead with her shiny Irish setter, the bald man with a kind face and a toothy grin that somehow perfectly matches his English bulldog's underbite smile, the long hair and scruffy beard and the equally scruffy mutt beside him. In these pictures, you see not just the physical traits in common, but a shared energy, a similar emotion. It's as though through love and familiarity of relationship, the gap between self and others begins to thin. What a beautiful idea that we start to resemble the things we most love. In our story this morning, Old Turtle tells of a time long ago where the rocks and trees and rivers and fish Wind and sky and creatures of all kind could speak and understand each other. And as things that can speak and understand each other do, they began to argue. And for whatever reason, their argument was about what God was and God was not. And they each argued that God was somehow like them. The mountain thought God was a snowy peak above the land. The antelope thought God was swift and free, running and racing. The bear thought God was powerful and fearsome. I don't pretend that any of us know for certain what God is, or if God is, or how, or why. That's one of those great mysteries in life that we each get to answer for ourselves in our own time. But I think there's something to learn here, right? What the creatures and features of the earth believed about God was what they had come to know and value most about themselves. The quality that impressed them most, that made God or whatever mystery lives in the universe alive for them, was that quality that they could see reflected in their own lives. What an interesting idea, that we start to resemble the things we most love, and that what we love most is what resembles us. I wonder if we can use that idea to our advantage. We know that our world is not filled with people and creatures that are just like us. Certainly not mirror images that look just like us. Far more often, we are confronted with differences and distance. And we often become quick to argue. But what if the invitation is to get up close, even to the differences, and say, what resemblance can I find here? What similarities might be here? What if it's true that through time and intention, through love and respect and empathy and familiarity, the gap between self and others could begin to thin? If it works for our pets, who are so easy to love, perhaps it could work for those that aren't so easy. As we go forward, let's look for the good in others. Look for the God in others. Look for those resemblances, especially in moments of conflict, especially when we argue, as we do. When we find common ground, we are on holy ground, and through that, we grow in wisdom and in love. And now, friends, I think it's time to check back in on Old Turtle. Do our children want to come up and hear what's going on with our old turtle? Yes, good. Let's see how Herbie's doing. I think he's being a Sunday morning hero. Not that I've heard, but if he did, I wouldn't understand him, so we might argue. You're going to sit up here with me? That's perfect. Thank you for joining me. All right. Everyone wants to come up here. Oh, my goodness. Well, if you guys are all up here, then how are you going to hear the story and see the pictures?
I've seen the pictures right now.
Well, there's a good point. All right, I think we've got too many friends up here. Okay, we'll work it out. So, left off, and the people came. We passed the people. Yeah, I was just trying to help people remember. All right. And the people came, but the people forgot. They forgot that they were a message of love and a prayer from the earth. And they began to argue. They began to argue about who knew God and who did not, and where God was and was not, and whether God was or whether God was not. And often the people misused their powers and hurt one another or killed one another. And they hurt the earth until finally, even the forests began to die. Right? And the rivers and the oceans and the plants and the animals and the earth itself, because the people could not remember who they were or where God was. Until there came a voice like the growling of thunder, but as soft as butterfly sneezes, and that voice said, "Please stop." You want to do it again? 1, 2, 3. Please stop. The voice seemed to come from the mountain who rumbled, "Sometimes I see God swimming in the dark blue depths of the sea." And from the ocean who sighed, "He is often among the snow-capped peaks reflecting the sun." From the stone who said, "I sometimes feel her breath as she blows by." And from the breeze who whispered, "I feel them and their presence as I dance among the rocks." And the star who said, "God is very close." And the turtle, yeah, old turtle is talking and walking. And the star who said, "God is very close." And the island said, "God's love touches everything." Yes, do you have a question? No, we're not going to play with the microphones, but thank you for asking. And after a long, lonesome, and scary time, the people listened and began to hear and to see in one another. Right? And in the beauty of all the earth.
I see it.
And old turtle smiled. And so did God. And that's the end of the story. Aw, thank you, Saoirse. So for me, this story reminds us that human beings are not the only creatures on the earth with wisdom. We can learn and grow from all sorts of creatures. When we see things in other creatures that are, the things they're good at that we might not be good at, and we say, "Oh, that is a really special attribute. I really appreciate that." That's when we can learn empathy, and that's something that helps us grow. I wonder, have any of you learned something from an animal in your life? What have you learned?
I learned that it takes hard work to take care of the animal, but but it's also sad that they die.
Yeah, it takes hard work to take care of animals, and it is sad when they die. What have you learned, Vane?
Huskies can get very, very far away when they dig out.
Huskies can dig out and get very, very far away. That is a great lesson from animals. Saoirse, what have you learned from animals?
I learned turtles can go fast, and can I say with the others too?
Yeah, you want to come up here and sit now too? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, turtles can go fast. And what have you learned, Avery?
I learned that animals can't go slow. I learned that animals can go fast, not slow, like miles and miles fast.
Yeah, animals can go fast and they can go slow. Like a cheetah can go really fast, but Herbie, he goes pretty slow.
Yeah.
And do you think that the animals in our lives, do you think that they've taught us lessons and that we should thank them?
Yes.
Do you think it's nice to say thank you to the animals?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, animals.
Yeah.
It helps us be company.
Yeah, it helps us be good company to our animal friends. So I'm going to send you all back to your seats now, and we're going to thank all of the animals who came here today and all of the animals that would not have had a fun time sitting in this room with other pets, but are still very much loved, and maybe the animals that have passed away that we're remembering today, we're going to say thank you to them. And so I'm going to send you all back to your seats, and then we're going to line up for our blessing of the animals. I'm sorry, what?
You said that you need me and my brother to say the names of our
Yes, you'll get to do that. You'll come up for that, I promise.
like right now.
Just in a second.
And then are we gonna be in class? No.
All right, friends. All right, friends, let's go sit back down so we can do our blessing of the animals. Animals, plants, birds, trees, today we gather to bless you and thank you for the wisdom that you teach us, for the gift of your good company, and for the reminder that we are interconnected. And that means that we are connected from the tiniest ants to the greatest elephants and whales, and we're connected from the soil to the sky to everything in between. When we lose sight of that interconnection and forget that we actually resemble each other and that our future resides with each other, that's when the violence and destruction comes. And so instead of that, we are choosing gratitude. And we are choosing another way, a way gentle as butterfly sneezes and strong as the rushing river and the grizzly bear. This way is a way that acknowledges interdependence with care and generosity to all the creatures that call this planet home. So, let me invite up our pets to come forward who want a blessing. And I think Riker, are you nervous? Are you anxious for a blessing? Do you see Dad back there? Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We'll wait for Dad. But, all right, buddy, do you want to come up and get a blessing? All right. I'm going to say, bless you, Riker. Thank you for the gift of love and laughter that you bring, and thank you for being such a handsome boy. You are blessed. Would anyone else like to come up for a blessing? And this is Dizzy, right?
She wants Riker's friend. So.
Riker's friend. Bless you, Dizzy. Thank you for your beautiful face and your kind, friendly spirit. We're so grateful for what you bring to the world. Alexis, do you want to bless? Do you have someone to bless? I'm going to bless your shoulder, and you'll bring it to them.
I bless my Rex and Ada because we both died. Ada was a great. When I was little, I wish I could still see them, but I didn't have that much because.
Yeah. So we're blessing Rex and Ada, who are no longer with us, but who we love. Thank you for bringing their memory to us. We bless them. All right, who am I blessing here? Ooh, that's a beautiful cat. Lorelei, what's your cat's name?
Morpo.
Morco? Morbo. Morpo. I'm going to get it. I'm sorry. Blessings to Morpo. Thank you for your joyful, sunny lounging and for being a wonderful cat friend. All right, Shalene, do you have... I need to replace my batteries. Okay, do you want to do that while I'm blessing people? Awesome. Great. Thank you. Shalene, who am I blessing?
This is a request from Leah Braswell.
Uh-huh. Blessing feral cats and kittens, and Lulu, the dog, who is pregnant. Bless you. May you have a beautiful year, and best of luck with your dog pregnancy. Love that for you. Come on up. Who am I blessing?
This is Pat. She's transformed. She was my husband's working dog, but she's still with me.
Oh, bless his Patch. Thank you for your life and what you bring to the world. Do you want a blessing? Sam? Sammy. Hello, little Sammy. Oh, blessings to the cutest pug alive. I love you. Blessings. Thank you for your joy and your companionship. Who am I? Oh, we've got pictures. Thank you for these. Who are these friends?
This is Lucy and this is Cat Rat.
Lucy and Carrot?
No, Cat Rat.
Cat Rat. Lucy and Cat Rat. Blessings. Thank you for your companionship.
I don't have pictures of them, but
That's okay.
bless my late rat terriers, Coco and Lucy. They were sisters, and they were like the best.
Blessings to Coco and Lucy. You're no longer with us, but you were the best. May you rest in peace, and may your memory be a blessing. Thank you.
Rio and Bernie.
Blessings, Rio and Bernie, for your cozy snuggles and your delightful companionship. Blessings. Is this Bongo?
Bongo.
Blessings, Bongo. Thank you for your enthusiasm and your joy. Okay. Clementine in absentia, because we thought multiple animals was going to be a lot. Plus Simone, our cat, and Herbie. Blessings, Herbie. Thank you for your old turtle wisdom. Thank you. Herbie is 8 years old.
This is Harlem.
Harlem. Harlem and Harper. Cats, blessings to you. Thank you for your... New dog. Name? Nami. Oh, Nami, blessings to you. Thank you for the joy and love you bring to this world.
This is Grace and Ella.
Grace and Ella, beautiful, mischievous friends, thank you for all you bring to this world. Who am I blessing?
First, Little Spirit, my kitty.
Little Spirit the kitty. Blessings to you, Little Spirit.
And all the butterfly caterpillars and butterflies.
The butterflies and caterpillars and bees and bugs that have adorned our garden. Blessings. Ben. Oh, what a beautiful friend. Thank you for what you bring to the world. Do we have chickens?
Backyard chickens and beehive.
Blessings to the backyard chicken sisters and the beehive. May you bring so much joy to the world. Thank you. Do we have any other animal friends that would like a blessing? Oh, blessings, Fred. You get a blessing as well. Oh, what a gift it is to have creatures among us, to have their love or their memory or their sweet little spirits with us. It is a joy. Blessings to each and all. I'll leave you with this, a charge from the earth. It was written by my colleagues Irene Glass and Rebecca Savage. There is a song beneath the soil. 10 million voices raise their call in no human language. Life flows through the tangle of roots, mycelium, microbiota, and crawling, burrowing, tunneling life. The song flows upward through trunks and stems and tender blades of grass. And if we are quiet and pay attention, sometimes we remember that we are a part of this song as well, and we have notes to sing. Today, we are charged to remember that we live together in community. We are the silently singing lives in vast congregations of this earth. The interdependent web of existence is no allegory. It's as real as the hearts beating in our chests. We are charged to do what we can to help those who cannot advocate for themselves with human language. We have a role to play in softening the impact of humanity on this planet. We are so charged in the name of the sacred song and tapestry of life of which we are a part. Let us remember and sing together. Let's rise now in body and spirit to sing our closing song that's led by our fabulous ukuleles. We are going to sing All God's Critters Have a Place in the Choir, and if you want those words, they're on the back of your insert in the order of service. Let's sing.
This just came loose. Come undone. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands and calls or anything they got now. Listen to the bass, it's the one on the bottom where the bullfrogs croak and the hippopotamus moans and groans with the big to-do. And the old cow just goes moo. Dogs and the cats, they take up the middle where the honeybee hums and the cricket fiddles, the donkey brays and the pony neighs, and the old coyote howls. Oh! All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands and paws or anything they got down. Listen to the top where the little bird sings on the melodies with the high notes ringing. The hoot owl hollers over everything, and the jaybird disagrees. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day. A little duck quacks and he's on his way. The possum ain't got much to say when the porcupine talks to himself. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. And some just clap their hands and paws or anything they got. It's a simple song of living sung everywhere by the ox and the fox and the grizzly bear, from the alligator and the hawk above, the sly raccoon and the turtle dove. Everybody here is a part of the plan. We all get to play in the great critter band, from the eagle in the sky to the whale in the sea. It's one great symphony. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands and paws or anything they got now. Some just clap their hands and paws or anything they got now. Let us now take a moment to extinguish our chalice with these words by Louis J. Camuti. Love of animals is a universal impulse, a common ground on which all of us may meet. By loving and understanding animals, perhaps we humans shall come to a better understanding of each other. As we extinguish the flame on our chalice, we ignite it inside ourselves. Our commitment to our mission and to one another is an unquenchable flame. Let us remember that we are not alone until we light this flame next time.
Friends, our service now comes to a close. Myself and Herbie will be at the back of the sanctuary to greet you, and everyone is invited to stay after the service and have coffee and conversation and make a point to introduce yourself to someone you might not know well yet after our service. Let us leave this sacred place now with these parting words. Go out changed by this time of story, song, and blessing. Go out curious. What can the creatures of this earth teach? What do you need to listen for? Go out loving, for animals show love in what they do, and go out in peace and joy to greet this new day. Amen, blessed be, and we'll go out singing a reprise of All God's Critters as our rite of community. Blessings. and blessed be. Thank you.